Hello friends, and welcome back to our Heirloom Afghan crochet along. We are week 9. We're going to be making a beautiful pattern today. This is our block and it is an arch stitch. I like to call it a honeycomb stitch because these just look like beautiful little diagonal honeycombs, but you can see here that we've got the arches. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started on this pattern. There is a tutorial that's been released. If you need to get caught up, you can go watch that tutorial and then come back and complete the entire block with us. This block will be done in its entirety today, so this is a true crochet along. Pause when you need to, and let's get started. So we're going to be working with color A, whatever color you've designated according to our supply list as color A. We're going to start with that. We're going to go ahead and complete a slip knot and get that on our hook, and we're going to chain 28. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So here we have our chain of 28, and let's go right into row 1. For row 1 of our block, we're going to place a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. Now remember, we're not counting the loop that's already on our hook. We're going to count 4 chains over. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 is right here. We're going to yarn over. We're going to go into that chain, pull our yarn back through. We have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Our chain right here that we skipped, that's going to count as a double crochet when we further our work, so keep that in mind. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to skip the next 2 chains, 1, 2, and we're going to double crochet in this chain right here. Now, according to our pattern, we're going to go ahead and we're going to double crochet in the next 2 chains. So let's go ahead and we'll add those and we'll take a look at our work. So here's the 2nd double crochet, and here's the 3rd double crochet. So let's take a look at what we've got here. We chained 2 and we skipped 2, and it created this nice little space. This is our chain space that we'll be working on later. And then we have 3 double crochet. The chain 2, skip 2, 3 double crochet is something that we're going to carry across our beginning chain here. So let's go ahead and do a few more of these sequence of stitches so we can get our block started. So we're going to chain 2. We're going to skip 1, skip 2, and we're going to double crochet in the very next chain, which is going to be right here. There's 1 double crochet. We're going to the very next chain, and we're going to put in a double crochet, again making sure that we get a couple strands of yarn there in that chain so it doesn't pull too much. And we're going to do the next one. So there we've got our 3 double crochet. So we've created another chain 2 space and 3 double crochet. We're going to continue that. We're going to chain 2, skip 1, skip 2, and place a double crochet right here in that 3rd chain away. So here's 1 double crochet. Here's 2 double crochet, and here's 3 double crochet across those next 3 stitches that we had there, our next 3 chains. So we've created another chain 2 space and another 3 double crochet. Chain 2, skip 2, There's 1, there's 2. And we're going to go right back into that sequence of doing 3 double crochet, 1 in each of the next 3 chains. There's 2, and there's 3. We're going to chain 2, and now we're at the end of our beginning chain, and we're going to notice if we skip 2, we don't have 3 chains to work in to do 3 double crochet. Well, let's look at the beginning of our block. Remember how the chains that we skipped count as a double crochet and then we did a double crochet? We have 2 at the end. We're going to end with 2 at this end. So we chained 2, we're going to skip 2, and then we're going to double crochet 2. So we're going to go into this very next stitch here and complete a double crochet. There's 1. We're going to go into our very last chain here and complete a double crochet. There's 2. Okay, so in essence what we have here is we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chain 2 spaces. We have 2 double crochet at the end here. In essence, we have 2 double crochet at the end here. And in between we have these little pillars. See the little pillars? 1, 2, 3, 4 pillars that we'll be building our arches around up here. So look over your block, your row 1 here. Make sure you've got 2 on the end, 2 on the end. 4 groupings of 3 double crochet across, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chain 2 spaces. If you're all set and ready to go, let's move on to row number 2. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. We're going to single crochet in the first double crochet. So that's this one right here, right below. Right here, we're going to place a single crochet. So we're going to go into our stitch, making sure that we get both the front loop and the back loop on our hook. Grab our yarn and pull it back through. We have 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull through both loops on our hook. So there's just 1 single crochet to start this row. Next, we're going to be working in this chain 2 space that we created right here. We're going to place 5 double crochet in this chain 2 space. We don't put any chains in between. We finished that single crochet. We're not going to chain at all. We're just going to go right into placing 5 double crochet right here in our chain 2 space. So here we go. I'm going to yarn over and go into that space. We're not going into the chains. We're going into the space, grabbing our yarn and pulling it back through. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. There's 1. And you may be saying, you're getting right here saying, I don't have much room to work with, Country Mama. That's okay. Just slide those over a little bit. You can pull them over. These stitches are worked around this chain 2, so it's in the middle of the stitches. They should slide easily. So we slide that over. We've got room to work 2 more in here. So here's our 4th double crochet. And here's our 5th double crochet in that space. Now what we want to do is we want to place a single crochet right here in the middle of this pillar that I said we were making. According to our pattern, we're going to skip the first double crochet and place a single crochet in the next double crochet. So we're skipping this stitch, we're going to this stitch, and we're going to complete a single crochet. So let's look at what we've done here. We started with a single crochet and we ended with a single crochet, and we've got this beautiful fanned arch from our 5 double crochet that we worked into our chain 2 space. We're going to continue making arches across our work in that fashion. For this pattern, all you need to know is chain, single crochet, double crochet. It's very, very simple, and yet you're going to end up with a beautiful block for your Afghan. So let's move on. We're going to continue the sequence now of a single crochet and 5 double crochet. So right here we've got our single crochet. We're going to skip the next double crochet and we're going to go right to our chain 2 space that we created, and we're going to place 5 double crochet. There's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to skip the first double crochet right here, and we're going to place a single crochet in the next one. So it's always the middle one. Just find your middle double crochet of this grouping of 3, and we're going to place a single crochet right there. Moving on, we're going to skip this double crochet and we're going to work in our chain 2 space right here, again creating 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skipping the first double crochet, we're going to place a single crochet right here in the top of the next double crochet. Skipping the next double crochet right here, we're going to work 5 double crochet in our chain 2 space. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skipping the first double crochet of row 1, going to the second double crochet, we're going to complete the single crochet. And we've got 1 chain 2 space left. We're going to work another set of 5 double crochet right in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now to finish off our row, we have this double crochet from the prior row, and then we have this chain 3 that we said, again, remember it counts as a double crochet. We're just going to go right to the top of that chain 3 right there, and we're going to go into that stitch, grab our yarn and pull it back through. We've got 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through 2, so we just completed a single crochet right here at the end of our block. So let's look at our block. We started with a single crochet. We did our arch of 5 double crochet, placed a single crochet right here in the middle of this beautiful pillar for our arches. 5 double crochet, single crochet for the pillar, 5 double crochet, single crochet, and on across, ending with a single crochet here at the very end. So we began with a single crochet, we ended with a single crochet. We had 5 chain 2 spaces, and we have 5 beautiful arches that we've worked across. That's the end of row 2. Let's move on to row 3. Now some of you may think, oh, I've got this. I know what I'm doing now. I've got it. And you're going to try to skip ahead, and I promise you, don't do that. Don't do that, because we have several rows to go before we start a repeat, and each row is going to be just a teeny tiny little bit different until we get to that repeat section. So we've ended our row 2 here with that last single crochet. We're going to go to row 3. We're going to chain 4 and turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to turn our work. Here we have our 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. According to our pattern, we're going to skip the first double crochet, which is this one right here, Remember, this is a single crochet down here. This is our double crochet. We're going to skip the first one, and we're going to do a double crochet in each of the next 3. 1, 2, 3. So let's do that. We're going to skip our first double crochet. That's this one right here. Skip that, and we're going to do a double crochet in the next double crochet. We're going to do a double crochet in the very next double crochet, and we're going to do a double crochet in the very next double crochet. So let's look at what we've got. We've got our arch here, and our arch consists of 5 double crochets. As we work across our pattern, I want you to look at these arches. They look like little hills. So we have a hill that comes down into a valley, a hill that comes down into a valley. And what we're doing in this row is we're making these 3 pillars, these 3 double crochet pillars to build our arches on, but they're offset a little bit. So we're actually making those pillars in the top of our arches on this row. We're starting with this chain 4. This chain 4 counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. Okay, so we want to get our next pillar built on the top of this hill right here. But in order to get over there, we have to build a little bridge. So picking our work back up again, we've done our 3 double crochet. We're going to skip this next double crochet. We're going to skip the single crochet, and we're going to skip the next double crochet, and we're going to place a stitch right here at the top of this hill. But to get there, we have to build that bridge. So we're going to chain 2, and remember, this is going to create now a chain 2 space, just like what we had down here. When you're looking at these little hills and valleys, the easiest way for me to learn how to do this and to make sure my stitches are counted correctly is I'm always going to end with having a stitch here at the end of the bottom of the hill here, the valley, the beginning of the next hill, and then I'm going to do my 3 double crochet. So here's 1, 2, and 3 as we work across the top of the hill. So let's look at it according to the pattern and how I like to envision it. We're going to skip the last double crochet of this arch. We're going to skip the single crochet, and we're going to skip the first double crochet of the next arch. Then we're going to work a double crochet in the next stitch, a double crochet in the next stitch, and a double crochet in the next stitch. How I like to look at it is I'm skipping the bottom of the hill, skipping the valley, skipping the bottom of the hill, and placing my double crochets across the top of the hill. And we're going to continue this all the way across our pattern here, across our row 3. So we're going to chain 2 to build that little bridge in between our hills. We're going to skip the bottom of the hill, skip the valley, skip the bottom of the next hill, and we're going to work across the top of the hill. So according to the pattern again, we're going to skip the double crochet, skip the single crochet, skip the next double crochet, and work a double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. We want to come over here to this hill. So we're going to chain 2 to build a bridge, skipping the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. We're going to complete a double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. So again, I'm going to skip the bottom of this hill, skip over the valley, skip over the bottom of the next hill, and I'm going to put my double crochets across the top of the hill. So here's 1, going to the next stitch, here's 2 double crochet, and going to the next stitch, here's 3 double crochet. We're going to chain 2, which is our bridge to the next hill. We're going to skip 1, 2, 3 stitches and complete a double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. There's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and 3 double crochet. We're at the end of our row, and we want to end the row the way we started our row. Our chain 4 up counted as a double crochet. Our chain 4 up counted as a double crochet and a chain. So here at the end we're going to do a chain and then go right to the very end here and do a double crochet in that very first single crochet from the row below right here. Okay, so let's look at row 3. Row 3 has 1, 2, 3, 4 little chain 2 spaces. We've also got a little chain 1 space here at the ends. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pillars to build our arches around. Here we only had 4. Okay, so we're going offset. See how our little honeycomb holes are starting to go offset a little bit? We're going to continue that as we go. So we've completed row 1, row 2, row 3. Let's go to row 4. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to turn our work. Okay, for row 4, this is where things are going to get a little different when we start here. We ended with a double crochet on our last row, and we just chained up 3. This chain up 3 is going to count as a double crochet. And we're going to place 2 more double crochet in this double crochet from the prior row. Now let me make something very clear here. You want it to be in the stitch. Make sure you grab the front loop and the back loop. Don't work in this chain 1 space. You're going to be tempted to do that. You're not going to end up with the same look. You're going to want to work in this stitch. So yarn over and go into that double crochet stitch. Grab your yarn and pull it back through. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. And we're going to place 1 more double crochet in that stitch. Pull through 2, pull through 2. Now, because we're having an offset pattern, what we've got here is we've got full arches here, but we're diagonal. So this is technically half of an arch. This is going to be half an arch. We're not going to work in this chain 1 space because then it's just going to stay up and down. It's not going to arch. So we have to keep it over here at the end in order for it to work. So what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of start following the same pattern we had down here at row 2. We're just starting it differently because of the need to offset things. So we're not going to chain anything. We've got our 3 double crochet here, which are like our pillar. We're going to skip the first double crochet and place a single crochet in the next double crochet right here. And what that does now is that's pulled that from this edge and it leans it over, so it's half of an arch leaning over right here. We're going to go right back into how things were similarly down here in row 2. We're going to skip this double crochet and we're going to go right here to this chain 2 space area and we're going to complete 5 double crochet. There's 1, 2, 3, slide that over if you need a little more room, 4, and 5. We're going to skip the next stitch and go to this middle double crochet right here, the next stitch here, and we're going to complete a single crochet, and that helps round down our arch. And we're just going to continue this same sequence of stitches across. 5 double crochet in the chain 2 space, a single crochet in the middle double crochet right here, all the way across till we get to our end. So here's 5 double crochet. Skip the next stitch, place a single crochet in the very next stitch. skip the next stitch and place 5 double crochet in your next chain 2 space. Now if I'm moving too fast for you, pause, get caught up, and hit play again. You can rewind if you have to. This is not a race. You are crocheting at your own pace. I'm not going super fast, but I'm not going as slow as I could because at this stage of our Afghan, all of you should be very comfortable with completing a double crochet. But again, if you're a new crocheter and you need a little bit more time, you can certainly pause. We're going to place our single crochet right here in the middle of our pillar and do 5 double crochet here in our chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to go to our middle of our little pillar area here. We're going to skip one, do a single crochet in the next one. And here we have our chain 4, where it's going to count as a double crochet and a chain 1. We're going to go right about here to our third chain, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, right here, and we're going to complete 3 double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. And this gives us that half arch, similar to what we started with. We started with a half arch here, leaning in this way. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 arches here, and then a half arch here. So if we look at our prior arch row down here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 arches, and here we also have 5 arches. We just have a half an arch here and a half an arch here. That makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this pattern is going to continue on a diagonal, whichever way you look at it. And we're just going to keep feeding this in a way where it creates these beautiful little half arches and full arches. Okay, we're going to move on to row 5. Like I said, it takes a while before we get to a repeat. We have row 5. Let's go ahead and let's work on that one. At the end of row 4, we're going to chain 3 and turn our work. We're going to double crochet in the next double crochet, not this one right here. We're going to go to the next double crochet and we're going to double crochet right here. And we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and that's our bridge to get over to this hill to do our next little pillar, our set of pillars. Remember, we're going to skip the bottom of the hill, skip the valley, skip the beginning of the next hill, and we're going to do 3 double crochet across the top of the hill. So here's 1, 2, and 3. So let's look at the beginning of row 5. The beginning of row 5 is almost the same as row 1, okay? The only difference is we're not working in a beginning chain. So this is why we have row 5. So we have 2 double crochet in essence right here, and we have 2 down here, and we have a chain 2 space. So we had underneath this stitches right here, we've got chain 2, and then we're going to do another pillar. So that's what we're going to do as we work across row 5. We've just completed a pillar right here on the top of this arch, and we're going to chain 2 to create our little bridge. 1, 2. We're going to skip the bottom of the hill, skip the valley, skip the bottom of the next hill, and we're going to work in 1, 2, 3 across the top of this hill. So if we read it according to our pattern, we're going to skip the next 3 stitches, placing a double crochet in the very next stitch. Here's 1, and each of the next 2 stitches. So here's a second double crochet across the top and a third double crochet across the top. We want to get from this hill over to this hill, so we're going to chain 2, skip 1, 2, 3, and here we've got 1, 2, and 3 double crochet across the top of the hill. Chain 2 creates our bridge. Skip 1, 2, 3, and double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Here's 1, 2, and 3. We're going to chain 2. We're going to skip the bottom of the hill, skip the valley, skip the beginning of the next hill, and we're going to place a double crochet in the next stitch. So here's a double crochet, and we have a chain 3 here, so we're going to place a double crochet in the top of the chain 3 to create another double crochet. So we started with 2 in essence because we had our chain 1 turn, or chain 3 and turn, and then we did a double crochet. So we've got 2 here, and we've got 2 here, okay? And we have our little pillars in between. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chain 2 spaces, and we've got these pillars in between, just like we had down here. Now this is the point of our pattern where we're going to start repeating. We're going to repeat rows 2, 3, 4, and 5 until our work measures the square that we want. This is the point where I'd like to encourage you to grab your block 2, which is your half double crochet block. This one seems to work out really well for figuring out our gauge. And so we're going to set this right here, and let's place our block on top of it and see where we are for gauge. So if we're going to put right here, we're going to allow this row of single crochet to be at the bottom here. And let's look at what we've got. When we complete our block, we're going to do 2 rows of edging. This is our first row of edging, and then this is our second row of edging. We want to make sure that our block lines up so that we have enough room for edging on each side. And this looks like it's lining up perfectly. I have room here for 2 rows of edging and 2 rows of edging, and then this block will fit perfectly here. We've got our 2 rows of edging here at the bottom, and now we just need to work this block this way until we're right up to here. So I'm going to repeat the pattern as we go. I'll be doing a little bit of discussion in between, but so that I don't throw off your stitch counts, I won't be talking too much, but we're going to crochet this together. So let me remove block 2, and I'm just going to go right into repeating row 2. Remember, we're going to start now with a repeat of row 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2, 3, 4, and 5 until our block is the size that we want it to be. So according to my pattern for row 2, I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And I'm going to single crochet in my first double crochet. And I'm going to go right to my chain 2 space and complete 5 double crochet. Going to skip the next stitch and place a single crochet in the next stitch, and that completes my arch. So I'm going to complete that all the way across, 5 double crochet and then a single crochet in the middle, 5 double crochet and then a single crochet here in the middle, and just enjoy the music while I work my way across our pattern. Now we're here at the end of our row, and to finish off row 2, we're going to single crochet in the top of this chain that we did to turn our work. I'm just going to go right here and place a single crochet. Going to row 3, we're going to chain 4 and turn our work. We're going to skip the first double crochet, and we're going to go right into making our pillars right here with 3 double crochet. Here's 1, 2, and 3. We're going to chain 2 to make our bridge. We're going to skip the bottom of the hill, skip the valley, skip the beginning of the next hill, and complete 3 double crochet across the top. And we're going to continue on with the chain 2 to create our bridge, and then working across the top of the hill all the way across to the end of our row. We're at the end of our row. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to double crochet in the very last stitch over here. And there we've completed row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows. So we're going to chain 3 and turn our work. We're going to place 2 double crochet right here in this double crochet below. And again, we're making that little half arch. So there's 1 and there's 2. We're going to skip this first double crochet. We're going to place a single crochet in the next one. And we're going to go right to our next chain 2 space, and we're going to complete 5 double crochet. Skip the next double crochet, placing a single crochet in the very next one, which is at the middle here of our pillar. And then we're going to go right back to our next chain 2 space, and we're going to work this across to the end of the row. 5 double crochet in our chain 2 space and a single crochet at the top of our middle double crochet from the prior row. We're going to place our last single crochet right here in the middle of our little pillar there. And we have to get this other half arch at the end of our work again. And we're going to count up 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go ahead and place 3 double crochet in the top of that turning chain. And that completes our repeat of row 4. Repeating row 5, we're going to chain 3 and turn our work. We're going to place a double crochet in the next double crochet, not the first one, in the next one. And again, we're on a row where we're going to have our hills and our valleys. We're going to do our bridges and our pillars. So we want to get over here. We're going to chain 2, skip 1, 2, 3, and complete a double crochet in each of the next 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2, skip 1, 2, 3, and complete a double crochet in each of the next 1, 2, and 3. We're going to work this same pattern all the way across to the end of our row. Now we've worked our last 3 double crochet in the top here. We chained 2 to create a new bridge, and we've got these 3 double crochet right here. We're going to go to the middle one here, this last actual double crochet. This is a chain. We're going to go to that last actual double crochet and place a double crochet. And then we're going to go to that chain up, and we're going to go to the top of it and place a double crochet. There we go. So we've repeated to row 5 a second time. So we should have a total of 9 because we did 2 through 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rows. So rows 1 through 5, and then rows 2 through 5 a second time. Let's look on our block 2 and see where we are. And looking at it, we're just not quite, almost about 2/3 of the way there, so we've got some more to work on. And since this was row 5, we're going to start right back at row 2 again. So we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to single crochet in the first double crochet, and then we're going to start that whole sequence over again of 5 double crochet in our chain 2 space and a single crochet in the middle double crochet of this pillar of our arches, and we're going to work that all the way across. We're going to go right here. This is our chain up, and we're just going to place a single crochet right here at the top of that chain. All right, that was row 2 again. Let's move on to row 3 again. Chain 4 and turn. We're going to skip this first double crochet, and we're going to do 3 double crochet across the top of our heel. Oops. We want to bridge between this arch and this arch, so we're going to chain 2. And continue on across, skipping the bottom of the hill, skipping the valley, skipping the beginning of the next hill, and we're going to complete our 3 double crochet across the top of the hill. We've worked our way all the way across. We've got these 2 little areas left here. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to place a double crochet right here in this single crochet. And there's the end of that row. So this was row 2. This was row 3. Let's complete another row 4 and then see where we're at. We're going to chain 3 and turn our work. And we're going to place 2 double crochet in the top of that very last double crochet. And this is where, again, we've got that little half arch that we're going to bring over. See how it kind of goes over here right now? When we complete a single crochet right here in the middle of this arch, or in the middle of this pillar, it pulls it over. So here's a half arch. We're going to go right into our arches and our single crochet, and our arches and our single crochet across. So let's go right into that. Repeat of 5 double crochet and then 1 single crochet. just finished that last single crochet in the middle of this pillar, and we've got this chain up. Remember, this is 4 plus 1. We're going to go into this third chain, which counted as our first double crochet, and we're going to complete 3 double crochet. So we have our half arch. 2 and 3. And I think it's a safe bet. We're going to go ahead and do row 5 one more time. We're going to chain 3, 2, 3, and we're going to turn our work. We're going to double crochet in the next double crochet, and we're going to chain 2. We're going to start our pattern again of skipping the bottom of the hill, the valley, and the beginning of the next hill, and completing 3 double crochets across the top of the next hill. Chain 2 for a bridge, skip the bottom of the hill, skip the valley, skip the beginning of the next hill, and complete 3 double crochet, 1 in each stitch for the next 3 stitches across the top of the hill. Chain 2. We're at the end of our row. We're going to skip the bottom of the hill, skip the valley, skip the beginning of the next hill, and we're going to do 2 double crochet, 1 in the very first stitch that we get to after skipping those 3, and then 1 in the top of our chain up that we did. And there we go. There's row 5. Let's take a look as we compare this to our number 2 block here. See where we're at. I think we're doing really, really well. We have enough room for our first edge round right here, and then the second edge round, and then down here at the bottom we've got room for our first edge round and our second, and at the top we've got room for a single crochet edge round here, and then our final edge here. Now, since this is in color A, we're going to complete both rounds in this color, this white. So we won't be switching colors like we did here in this square 2. But we are going to be doing our rounds. Now, if you look at this, they look very similar from one side to the other. This is the front of our work because the little V's are pointed up towards you. If you flip this over and look at the back of your work, you've got a different set of V's back here. This is, you can tell this is the back of the work, okay? Because there's your V on top. You'd have to fold it over to see it. You want to do your edging with those little V's poking up towards the top of you there. So, what you're going to do now, because we're ready for our edging, is we're going to chain 1, and in this very top of this stitch right here, we're going to do 3 single crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Get rid of this block here. We're going to turn our work quarter turn here, and we're going to work 25 stitches evenly across this work. whatever side you're on. You might be working across this way depending on whether you're right-handed or left-handed, and so that the work is facing up towards you. You want to work 25 across. So I'm going to fold my work in half, and we've done this on prior blocks, and I'm going to find the middle point of my work and add a stitch marker. Okay? And I want 25 across, so I know I have to have 12 or 13 by the time I reach this stitch marker. We're going to work single crochets evenly across. We don't have designated stitches to work in. We've got our side chains, our turning chains. We've got a bunch of little areas here where we can work some stitches, but there's nothing defined. So we're going to try to work 12 or 13 across here. If I look here and I look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I've got some gaps. So I'm just going to try to evenly go across. Let's do this. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to put 10, 11, and I'm going to take my stitch marker out. And right here I'm going to put 12. So a couple of them I doubled up on in these little holes, but I got to 12. Now I need 13 across to here. So I'm going to go ahead and put another one in this same spot there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. I just made it. Now I've got this little corner left right here, and this is where we're going to make our next corner. So I'm going to go right in here to this little stitch here, and I'm going to do 3 single crochet right here at the corner, so it will create another corner when we turn our work. There we go. So 13, and yes, it looks a little wobbly. That's going to straighten out. I don't want you to worry about it. We've got a corner here, 25 across, and a corner here. We're just going to rotate our work a little bit. And we want to work 25 across to this corner. 1 here, here. If we look at our arches, we know we've got 1 on each side here, 1 on each side here, and 1 in the middle. I'm not going to go through an actual stitch. I'm just going to kind of put my stitch marker in the middle there just for reference, and know that I have to have, 12 or 13 until I get to this point right here. So I know when I get right here, I want to have about 6. So let's see what we've got. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3. I'm going to work right in that chain 2 space. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, let's do 12, and 13, right there. Let's the stitch marker out, and I know that I have to do 12 more across. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to go right in this last one here and put 11 and 12. And here I am at the corner. And in the corner, I'm going to do 3 single crochet to make another corner. And I'm going to rotate my work a quarter turn. And again, I'm going to fold my work, kind of find out where my halfway point is. Use a little stitch marker and work across to get round one of our edging, get the 3rd side done. Same as before, I want either 12 or 13 stitches before I get to that, right when I get to that stitch marker. And 12, and I'm going to go ahead and put 13 right there too. 13. I need 12 more. Right up here to the corner, I'm going to put 3 right here in this corner to make my corner. And give my work a quarter turn. I've got 1 more to work across here. 25 stitches is what I want. I'm going to look at my work, dividing it in half, and use my stitch marker again right here. Now keep in mind, when you do your round 2, you're not going to have to use any stitch markers. You'll have the perfect amount of stitches to complete your 2nd round of your edging. Just use the stitch markers around the 1st round just to help us out a little bit here. So we want 12 or 13 before we get there. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And we're going to take our stitch marker out. And now I want 13 until I get to the next corner. So here's 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and let's put 13 right there. Now here's our first corner. We're going to go ahead and just slip stitch to connect that and finish off that round. And there's our block. We've got one more round of edging to do. You're not going to turn your work. You still want these V's up. So what we're going to do is we're going to just slip stitch over here to the middle of our corner, chain 1, and I'm going to do 3 single crochet right there in that same stitch, and this will create a corner again. I'm going to quarter turn my work. I'm going to work across here, and I want to do 27 single crochet across until I get to this corner here. Six, 27, and right here in this corner I'm going to do 3 single crochet to create my corner and rotate my work, and I'm going to work 27 down to this corner. Six, 27. I'm going to put 3 single crochet in the next single crochet to make our corner, and rotate my work a quarter turn. See how nice and even our edging is looking? Very, very nice. Such a pretty block. 2 more sides to go. 26, 27, and 3 in the corner to create our final corner. We're in the home stretch now. Quarter turn one more time, and our last 27 across. And 27. We're going to go to our first single crochet of that row and complete it with a slip stitch. We're going to finish off. I like to do 2 chain, and then I cut my yarn, pull my yarn through with my hook, and then I like to just pinch those 2 chain really tightly and then give it a nice tug, and this is a knot that is not going to come undone. And there is our block 9, the arch stitch, which I like to call the honeycomb stitch. Now what you want to do, and do this with every block that you do, I recommend that you do this. Go ahead, sew your ends in now. Don't sew them in after you get your blanket put together. Turn your work over so that the back side is facing you now, and just go ahead and sew your ends in. I like to bring that knot down nice and firm, and then I find some stitches that I like to go under one direction for a good long length of stitches there. Pull that through. Now don't pull it tight. You don't want it to pucker, but you want it nice and firm. You don't want anything hanging out here. Then I like to go back the other direction, but where I came out right here, I like to go in a little bit. That'll catch that stitch, and it keeps you from pulling out everything that you just did. So we're going to go back this direction and pull that through. Again, not too tight, just snug, just like that. And then I like to go back one more time. And this is not coming out. Your work's not going to come undone when you do that. And then I like to use my scissors and just get close, but don't get close enough that you're going to cut your work. And just kind of snip that off there. And then find your beginning chain. Now this one I actually inadvertently kind of worked over it a little bit, so it's already underneath some of these stitches, but I'm still gonna sew it back through a few of them here. And I want to go back the other way, but my yarn's not long enough, so I'm going to go ahead and put my needle in first and then thread it if I can. Let's turn this way. And then so you don't have a very long tail, and then just kind of feed that through there. There we go. And just take this little bit of a tail off. And there we go. We're done with block 9. Look at that. This is going to be so lovely when it's paired up with the teal and when it's paired up with the gray. This is our chevron stitch that we did. Oops, look it. I didn't listen, didn't sew my ends in. but these three colors are going to be so beautiful together. I hope that your Afghan is coming along nicely. I hope you enjoyed this stitch. And yes, you can see it wobbles out a little bit here. That's going to be okay. By the time we sew all this together, this is going to be nice and straight. You don't have to worry about blocking it. It's going to be beautiful when you get your whole Afghan put together. So thank you so much for joining me this week. I will get the tutorial ready for week 10, and then we will get things going on that one and meet up next week and complete an entire block. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're enjoying your time here learning to do these different stitches, these different patterns, and coming up with these different blocks for your heirloom Afghan for our crochet along. I'd love to hear comments below. Let me know how you're enjoying your time. If you have any suggestions, any questions, comments, or concerns. Until I see you next week, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.